Tonight at 10, a fight between parents turns violent. We'll tell you why police say one woman did something to her child's father. Also tonight, a car slams into a Waffle House. Hear from officials who say that driver ended up inside of the restaurant. And people across the country are continuing to protest Donald Trump's election. See what they want to change now in the future.
And a quiet evening out there. Some clouds passing over across the area. Here's a closer look. Some cloud cover out there as you are heading off to bed or if you're still out and about tonight. A look at the 8-day forecast is coming up in just about 10 minutes.
WJTV 12, getting you answers, starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Terrence Friday in tonight for Mallory Pullen. Jackson police arrest a woman accused of shooting the father of her child. We're told that 22-year-old Mary Griffin shot the man shortly after 1 o'clock this afternoon. It happened on Tifton Drive. The victim is 25-year-old Travion Collins. Police say Griffin shot him in the hip. At this time, he is in stable condition and the motive is still unknown. Several customers are injured after a car goes right into a Waffle House this morning. WJTV's Candace Coleman takes us now to that scene.
Imagine having breakfast, sipping on a cup of coffee, and boom, shards of glass go flying across the restaurant, and suddenly there's a car in the building. That's what customers and workers witnessed just before 8:30 at the Waffle House on High Street.
We had a car try to do the drive-through here and did not work.
Waffle House Division Senior VP Bobby Garner says the driver of this black Impala was parked right outside when they accidentally pressed the gas, ramming the car through the huge glass windows and all the way up to the front counter. Jackson police say several customers were taken to the hospital with injuries.
And we're just so fortunate that no one was hurt seriously. Scared a little bit and frightened, to say the least. Cleaning up the shattered glass took over 2 hours, but Garner says the restaurant won't be closed for long. Well, we're known for getting open pretty quick, so we're assessing it right now and probably either first thing in the morning or by 2 o'clock on Monday. Candace Coleman, WJTV 12.
And according to Garner, they hope to reopen that Waffle House by Monday at the latest. New tonight, fire officials evacuated an apartment building today in Weston after one of the units went up in flames. It happened on Boland Street. The Weston Fire Department and 2 volunteer fire departments responded to that scene. They contained that fire to 1 unit. The apartment is a total loss, but the others in the building only have water damage. No one was hurt in this fire. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation has canceled a silver alert for a Quitman man. Johnny Lee Donald went missing Thursday afternoon. Officials now say that they found the 71-year-old and they tell us that he's safe. A Mississippi man is recovering from a venomous snake bite, and the snake is one of the vipers that he actually keeps in his home. David Brewer had 2 of his fingers amputated after that cottonmouth bit him. Brewer says he was trying to free the snake from a net after a visitor tried to take the animal from his aquarium. This is the 8th time that a snake has bitten Brewer, but he says he doesn't blame the cottonmouth. 4 Mississippi groups will share nearly $1 million to expand state-funded pre-kindergarten classes. The Board of Education approved those grants Thursday to partnerships in Canton, Greenwood, Grenada, and Starkville. The groups include a mix of school districts, Head Start agencies, and child care centers. Each will get $247,000 a year for 3 years for free classes to 4-year-olds that are in that area. President-elect Donald Trump says that it's time for the country to come together, but his words are doing little to calm some of his protesters still hitting the streets across the country. Roxana Subari has the latest now from New York.
From Los Angeles
Not my president!
to New York City, thousands of protesters pounded the pavement for a 4th day in big cities to express their outrage with the election of Donald Trump.
What is your message out here today?
I think it's time to get rid of the Electoral College. It failed us again.
The protesters have ended up here just outside Trump Tower, where the president-elect has been planning his transition to office.
I can't have a president who supports racism, misogyny. I can't.
This guy with a gun.
In Portland, witnesses say a demonstrator was shot in the leg during a confrontation with the driver last night. The New York Times is reporting that Hillary Clinton held a conference call with top donors Saturday and said that FBI Director James Comey's second letter to Congress just before the election helped rally Trump voters. In his first post-election interview with 60 Minutes, Trump recalled the phone call he received from Clinton.
She couldn't have been nicer. And she just said, "Congratulations, Donald. Well done." And I said, "I want to thank you very much. You were a great competitor." She's very strong.
Trump had no public events on Saturday, but he did tweet once saying, "This will prove to be a great time in the lives of all Americans. We will unite and we will win." Roxana Saberi, CBS News, New York.
And you can watch that full 60 Minutes interview tomorrow. And in that conference call mentioned earlier, Clinton said that the FBI director's actions delivered a double whammy to her campaign. Clinton said that the first letter that James Comey sent to Congress in late October halted the momentum that she had after the debates. The second letter, which exonerated Clinton, just fired up Trump's backers. Despite the loss and unhappiness of that letter, Clinton did call her supporters to keep moving forward and fighting for their causes. Hundreds of people gathered at the state capitol this morning to raise awareness against the #1 cause of death in America. As WJTV's Margaret Ann Carter reports, heart disease kills more than 600,000 people every year in Mississippi, and it's at the top of that list for our state.
It was a fun day with a serious message. The Heart Walk is the American Heart Association's largest fundraiser.
Not only do we raise money, we celebrate one another. We recognize lifestyle changes that people have gone through, like losing weight or quitting smoking, to make themselves healthier.
Heart-related diseases can sneak up on anyone.
I thought that I was doing all the right things, exercising a lot. I really thought I ate well, but, you know, I love to eat fried catfish and all those greasy things, and so I've changed all that. I found out that those things, I don't have to have them.
2 years ago, Mayor Gene McGee of Ridgeland had to have a stent put in, and just 2 months ago, he had to have another.
I was having discomfort, some chest pains, shortness of breath, never had a heart attack, not that kind of event, but when the doctor went in to check to see what was going on, he found a complete blockage in one of my main vessels.
As an avid cyclist, Mayor McGee thought he was living right at 68 years old. What he didn't realize was the stress of his job and other things were taking a toll on his heart.
I wasn't changing my habits of eating. I wasn't changing my habits of relieving stress and doing those sort of things. And so I had to look at more than just exercise.
And we work with survivors from infancy until old age. And we have people all along the spectrum who suffer from heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke. And their stories of survival are often so inspirational and are so important to share with the greater community because it inspires others to change their life.
Reporting in Jackson, Margaret Ann Carter, WJTV 12.
The best thing you can do to keep from becoming the victim of heart disease is to eat healthy, exercise regularly, and manage your stress. And of course, if you're having chest discomfort, you should always check with a doctor immediately. Habitat for Humanity volunteers opened up their warehouse to the public this morning for a very big sale. Organizers said anything that wasn't nailed to the ground had to go, and that packed warehouse quickly emptied as hundreds of people went through there this morning. Volunteers say that they arrived with lines of people already waiting at the doors for them to open this morning.
We've had so many people. Everybody has been happy and generous, and if they pay for something, they throw in a little extra for Habitat, and it just means the world to us to have the community show up like this and help us out.
All money raised goes back to Habitat for Humanity. And from furniture shopping to holiday shopping, some people picked up a few early gifts at the Reservoir Arts and Crafts Show this morning. This is the 4th annual show, and organizers tell us how they got the idea for it.
Actually, we had people approach us asking if we'd ever considered doing an event like this out here at the Reservoir, and it seemed like an ideal opportunity to bring just this. We have so many wonderful craftsmen in the area to be able to show their work off, and again, right before the holiday season, it works out well.
And 35 vendors participated today. They showed off everything from woodwork to knitting and everything else that they had there for all of those people. Organizers didn't make any money off of this event. They say they just wanted to connect people in the community with local artists. And the Jackson Zoo is preparing to say farewell to one of its beloved animals. Pumpkin, the orangutan's last day was at the exhibit today. The orangutan is an endangered species, so he's being sent to the Houston Zoo so he can breed with a larger group. Pumpkin is 31 years old and has been part of the Jackson Zoo family for about 20 years now. He's bred 5 children during his time there, and the zoo staff say that he will be greatly missed.
He's been around for long enough so that he's been the 3rd greeter here at the Jackson Zoo for as long as a lot of people can remember. So, yeah, he is going to be much, much missed because he's just such a character.
And the zoo is throwing Pumpkin a bon voyage throughout the weekend, so visitors are welcome to sign a card and chat with Pumpkin's zookeeper. And it was a beautiful day for the zoo. A little chilly, though, Katie.
Yeah, just a little bit chilly out there, and I can't stop smiling because Pumpkin is just a perfect name for that guy. He definitely brought a smile to my face. Coming up in the 8-day forecast, I'll talk about the Sunday weather and what you can expect for the second half of your weekend. Then a work week warm-up, just how warm we will get during the week. Next cold front and the timing of some late week rain. All that coming up after the break. Stay with us. Happy Saturday evening, everybody. Some cloud cover pushing across the state, mostly along and south of I-20. We had a cold front push through over the course of the day today. It was rather weak, did not bring really any showers. Any showers that did occur earlier in the day evaporated before reaching the ground because it is still so dry out there. Right now in Jackson, as the sun is set, we are 52. The temperatures really dropped after sunset. We were in the upper 60s this afternoon, and we're already making our way down to the lower 50s, and we'll continue dropping throughout the night. Elsewhere across central and southern Mississippi, some of us are already making it into the upper, even mid 40s up toward the north. Rolling Fork and Carthage at 48 and 47 degrees. Going to be a chilly one, all thanks to the air that has been brought in by the cold front that came through today. It's provided a nice north wind that is keeping the cool and dry air in place, and most of the cloud cover and the disturbed weather in the way of any showers and storms off to our east. The dry weather will continue throughout the day tomorrow, so another pleasant day for running errands or spending time outside, though it will be a bit of a chilly start in the morning. I'm expecting our lows across the Jackson Metro to fall into the low 40s under a mostly clear sky, so a bit chilly out there, especially with that north breeze sticking around. So if you do plan to be out and about early tomorrow morning, may want to grab a jacket, but dress in layers because, as we often see around this time of year in Mississippi, especially when it's dry, we'll go from cool mornings to mild and even warm afternoons. Here's the rest of the area for your Sunday morning lows. Really, the story will be low to mid 40s with some upper 30s in our northern zones, where we really are able to cool off thanks to lack of cloud cover and a dry air mass. Those are the ingredients you need to really maximize the cooling during the overnight hours. So we're going to be seeing a bit of a work week warm up, not much. We're still going to be staying under the 80-degree mark. I expect that we'll make it into the mid 70s by the middle of the week. We'll see mostly cloudy skies on Thursday as moisture increases ahead of a stronger cold front. This cold front going to pack more of a punch than the one we saw come through today. This one most likely not going to be a dry cold front. It will bring dry air behind it, but as it's passing through, could fire up some showers and storms. Right now, the computer models are showing about 40% to 50% of the area getting some rain on Friday, which, even though it probably won't be a widespread event, it could possibly slightly make a dent in those drought conditions that we keep harping about. So still refrain from burning. I know it stinks, but got to take care of the environment and be safe.
We've been talking about that for a while, but you got to take those seriously.
Absolutely.
And I've heard a lot of people talking about how cold it is. You know,
I'm
been
loving
wanting
it.
These fall temperatures.
I was listening to Christmas music while putting my forecast together. I know, I'm sorry. I know everyone's like, Katie.
Yeah, you gotta at least wait until Thanksgiving.
I know, I'm so bad.
Or do it now, to each his own. Thanks, Katie. All right, stay with us. Coming up, it's a mistrial in Ohio for an officer. They're charged with shooting a man during a traffic stop. Plus, an Alabama man tries to get rid of a neighbor by buying a billboard. You're watching WJTV 12 at 10. The jury in the Ray Tensing murder trial could not agree on a verdict, and so the former UC police officer's trial has now ended in a mistrial. As Deborah Dixon reports, most of the jury did not think that the shooter was intentionally murdering anyone.
The prosecution presented a case that included a high-tech breakdown of Ray Tensing's body camera. The shooting of Sam DuBose, prosecutor Joe Dieter said, was intentional, and that's murder.
I still think it's murder, and I think that we proved it.
But most jurors couldn't get there. 8 of them were leaning toward the lesser included charge of manslaughter, but all 12 could not agree. Jury verdicts have to be unanimous.
I'm going to go through a process where we will analyze whether or not there's a probability of success at trial, and if I think we can win, we'll retry the case.
I'm hopeful that Joe will evaluate what the splits were and determine that it's not worth pursuing.
There would not have been a trial if it weren't for the body cam video. Dieter said it exposed Tensing's lies. The defense said it showed DuBose tried to drive away with Tensing's arm entangled in the car. Tensing wept as he testified, "I shot to stop the threat." If Tensing were convicted of murder today, he would have faced 15 years to life in prison.
His reaction was relief in the sense that he wasn't convicted of anything, disappointment in the sense that he wasn't acquitted of everything, and, just now what's next? That's his concern, is what's next.
The DuBose family wants another trial.
Right is right, wrong is wrong. Tensing was wrong. And the same way that any other person will be held accountable for taking someone's life, he needed to be held to those same standards.
So you are not going to give up on justice no matter what happens?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
The decision on whether Tensing will be tried again will be decided later this month.
Ray Tensing's attorney says that politicians should stay out of the retrial decision, but shortly after the judge declared a mistrial, Mayor John Cranley stepped in saying that he hopes the prosecutor retries that case. A blast at a shrine in southwestern Pakistan left 20 people dead and 50 injured Saturday, according to police there. The nature of that explosion is still unknown at this point. Wildfires continue to cause major havoc in parts of North Carolina. State officials say at least 20 of these blazes are possibly arson. More than 5,000 firefighters are on hand now, attempting to regain control of the wildfires. Aircraft and air tankers are also being used to help with that fight. Other southern states dealing with those wildfires right now and dry conditions are Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. And in Alabama, a neighbor tries to pressure a registered sex offender to move out. Police are telling him that his neighbor is actually complying with sex offender laws, but that neighbor is placing signs throughout the neighborhood about the man who lives next door. According to police, he isn't doing anything wrong because his criminal past is public record. But despite the guilty plea on a second-degree rape and sodomy charge involving an underage girl, Martin maintains his innocence.
Yeah, I made mistakes and I admit mine. But you know what? You got to pick up and move on with it.
He just has a lot of problems, and be honest with you, we don't want to live in fear of him. He's threatened to burn our house down. He's threatened to poison our dogs. He told my 9-year-old daughter that he was going to kill and skin her cat.
Martin says those accusations are lies, and Leslie says he paid $160 for the billboard, and he's not planning to take it down until his neighbor moves out, and he's hoping that he stops having those problems with him. A new business is opening in Pennsylvania, and it's giving women the know-how to work on their cars and the opportunity to do it with style. The garage doors were officially raised Friday night on the Girls Auto Clinic. The shop, which employs 5 female mechanics, will not only repair cars, but some women will actually know how to do it themselves. And there is also a salon there that offers manicures and blowouts while you wait. All right, TJ's got to look at sports.
All right, coming up next, Shea Patterson is pretty good. He leads Ole Miss to a come-from-behind victory over Texas A&M, plus heartbreak for Jackson State while there's rejoicing in Lorman. Stay with us. Well, in the wake of the season-ending injury to Chad Kelly, Ole Miss head coach Hugh Freeze had to decide whether or not he would take the red shirt off of his freshman QB, Shea Patterson, this week. He did, and tonight against Texas A&M, Patterson showed he could be pretty stinking good. Let's go to College Station. The Rebels need 2 wins in the final 3 games just to become bowl eligible. Patterson making some big plays, and this was just wild. Fourth quarter, down 21-6. Patterson with nowhere to go, turns around and, oh, hey, what's up, DeMaurier Stringfellow? Who did he look like? Like, it's creepy how much he looks like Johnny Manziel. Anyway, it's 21-13. They come back, and they get within 2. 37 seconds to go. Gary Wunderlich from 39 yards away. Bingo. That's your winner. Patterson goes 25 of 42, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ole Miss wins behind a freshman, true freshman, 29-28. Nick Saban in Alabama, the only team Dan Mullen has not beaten in the SEC. Getting together in Tuscaloosa early on, not a great start for MSU. 3-0 Bama. Jalen Hurts to Calvin Ridley. 4-yard touchdown. It's quickly 10-0 in the first. To the second quarter now. Same score. Hurts flips it to Ardarius Stewart, and he's gone. Makes the cut goodbye, 67 yards to the house. Stewart finished with 156 yards receiving on the day. 17-0 Bama, and they rolled away 51-3 victory. Well, the SWAC East was on the line today. If Alcorn beat Mississippi Valley and Jackson State lost to Alabama A&M, Alcorn would clinch the division for the 3rd straight season. So let's start with the Braves, the 2-time defending conference champs visiting Mississippi Valley State. First quarter already 14-0 visitors. Noah Johnson downfield for Mr. Hands Man. Norlando Veals, 4 catches for 182 yards, 3 touchdowns. This put them up 21-0. They win 61-7, putting them on the cusp of a division crown. So let's go to Jackson. The Tigers now needing a win to stay in the race. Fourth quarter, final seconds, A&M up 7. Jaron Morikawa goes to Jarius Moll, makes a stretch for the pylon. Looks like he's in. It's ruled a fumble. Let's take another look. As you can see, the ball comes out just before he hits the pylon. Looks like the ref made the right call. Tony Hughes a little upset after the game. Wouldn't shake the hand of the A&M head coach. But afterwards, he had plenty of good things to say in this 27-20 loss about his team.
We became a team today. You know, there were guys on the sideline that didn't even play a snap. They were crying and falling out just like they had played 100 snaps. We became a team today. We became a program today. It might have took us 10 games to get to that point, but every single person on that football field today hurt and their heart was ripped out.
All right, let's move on to Southern Miss true freshman Keon Howard getting the start for USM against Old Dominion in the place of Nick Mullins. Down 21-0 in the second. Howard gets in the end zone. Using his legs. The Laurel native gets it, makes it 21-7, but that was one of the few bright spots before it really got out of hand. Old Dominion going up 28-7 here, and Southern Miss could never recover. They're now out of contention for the SWAC West Division title, falling 51-35. Conference USA West Division title, I should say. A lot of SWAC had to get to today as well.
Got a lot to get to. That's a good way to look at it for Jackson State. This is important for the team to be cohesive.
Yeah, you know, and just the way they were able to fight back, because they were up 17-0. They came back and they drove it down the field at the end, and they had a chance to tie the ball game. I mean, that's an unfortunate way to lose, of course, but they still have a chance to take down Alcorn in the rivalry game next week, so they could end the year.
And if the mindset's the same, they can do it.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, thank you, TJ. Katie's got to look at your forecast.
Well, good thing a lot of those football games have ended because it's making for a chilly night, at least here in Mississippi. We're falling into the upper 40s and low 50s, and we'll continue getting chillier as the evening goes on. One more check on the 8-day forecast is coming up after the break. All right, here's one more look at the 8-day forecast. Over the next 3 days, we'll be warming into the low 70s with a mix of sun and clouds. The mix of sun and clouds continues into the midweek, and then on Thursday, we'll see some clouds increasing ahead of a cold front that'll be pushing through on Friday and into Saturday. Could see some rain with that front, so good news, even if a little bit of rain helps out the drought conditions. And next weekend, looking pretty nice, dropping our high temperatures right now, looking to be into the 60s. So
hey, that sounds good. It's fall.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Katie.
Fall.
And TJ, thank you for joining us at 10. Remember, you can get us anytime on our website, WJTV.com.